Just started, really? Aren't you excited for the masterclass? Okay, that's good to hear. So my name is Manuel, and I think that by now you should all know me, except for the first year students. So I'm the head of the Career Center, and the team, part of the team is here as well, and we are here to support you to transition to the job market. So part of this support is actually introducing you to the major trends that are shaping the future of recruitment and the future of industries. So by the time you graduate, you can actually get a good grasp of what recruiters will be looking for. And today we are very lucky to have a very diverse board of presenters. So please give a round of applause for APTIV for being here. Starting with Mrs. Veronica Black, all the way from the US. Our own local representative, Mr. APTIV from APTIV Morocco. From APTIV Poland. So they've done a tour of campus, and now they are looking to know more about the brain of the operation, which is who are you, in fact. So please, don't embarrass us. Ask a lot of questions. So just before we start, can I get a show of hands? Who is from the Green Technology Institute? Okay. Who is from Industrial Management? Oh, any other schools here? 1337, good. College of Computing, okay, perfect. Oh, and one lady from the College of Computing, right at the back. So enjoy the conference, and over to you.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Veronica Black, and I've had the privilege of touring your campus all day today. I'm coming from Boston in the United States, East Coast, and I am absolutely impressed and thrilled to see this world-class institution right here in Morocco, in Africa. So thank you for having us. I'm going to let my colleagues introduce themselves briefly, and then we'll jump into our presentation. My role within our organization is our Senior Director of Global Talent, Inclusion, Employee Brand, and head of our Global Early Careers Program. So I get the real honor to work with students and early career talent, such as yourself, across the globe and across APTIV.
Okay, thank you. So I feel more comfortable speaking French than English, so diversity is also about languages. Bon, mon prénom est Sid, je suis directeur des ressources humaines chez APTIV, je gère le Maroc avec 6-7 unités de production, un centre d'ingénierie, un hub logistique, la Tunisie, la Turquie, le Portugal. Ça fait presque maintenant 5 ans que je suis avec APTIV. Et la première chose que je peux vous dire, c'est qu'il n'y a plus de frontières physiques. Le monde des compétences n'a plus de frontières. Donnez-moi la compétence et le comportement que l'entreprise a besoin, et là, l'ouverture est possible. Très heureux d'être parmi vous. Ça fait toujours plaisir de m'adresser à de futurs talents, futurs managers, futurs dirigeants. Et vous avez une étiquette derrière vous qui est très importante, qui est aussi Spain. Soyez-en fiers, parce que c'est vraiment une fierté d'avoir des jeunes talents dans cette belle institution. Je cède la parole à Philippe.
Thank you. So my name is Philip. I'm from Krakow, from Poland, and I'm dealing with early career programs and diversity. And I have a great opportunity to work with young talents across the EMEA. So I guess that's why I'm here, because one thing is common, that when you are young, you're hungry the knowledge, and we are on the second side, so we would like to give you the opportunity to feed your hunger. So we are here for us, for you all. Thank you.
So I'm going to present some slides, but to your professor's credit, I would love for this to be interactive. Please ask questions, please pause us when there are things that resonate with you, and we will enjoy our time together. So first I want to start by introducing you to APTIV. So APTIV is a global technology company that is focused on creating a safer, greener, and more connected world. So we are enabling the future of mobility across the world. So I'm going to tell you about what we do as a business, but just for you to understand the impact and the level of the business, our products and our software is in 1 in 3 vehicles in the world. So you likely have been in a car or some kind of mobility vehicle that featured one of our products or pieces of software. So as we think about that mission of being a safer, greener, and more connected business and future of mobility, we are absolutely thinking about the global impact we can have and will have and currently do. So we are an organization with over 200,000 employees in over 50 countries worldwide. So we've got manufacturing facilities and technical centers and business centers across the globe dedicated to this feature that will create this opportunity to be safer, again, greener and more connected. And as a business, we're really focused on how do we drive the future of skills and cross-functionality and insights to make sure that we are developing the best of the future of talent. And so when we look at our mission, we're really focused on the power of zero. And so I had the chance to check out your labs today on campus. I was really inspired by the level of creativity, entrepreneurship, and innovation, and the thought that is going into creating the future and what it looks like to be in the future currently. And so we're also thinking about that future, right? We're dedicated to a future where we have 0 fatalities, 0 injuries, 0 accidents, 0 emissions, and seamless connectivity throughout our mobility experience. So to get an understanding of what it's like to work with APTIV and that global footprint that we represent, I want you to be able to see kind of where we are within the world and what we focus on. We are a trusted technology partner to a host of brands that you likely are familiar with, and I'll share those in just a moment. But as you think about our business, we are a full systems, insights, and capabilities business. So we like to think about the 2 arms of our business as the brain and the nervous system of mobility. So the brain is what we call our advanced safety and user experience that's focused on software engineering, software development, and that technical brain system within a vehicle. And then the nervous system, signals and power solutions, is that connectivity, the wiring, the systems, the harnesses that actually bring the signal from the brain throughout the parts of the vehicle. So if you think about it almost as a skeleton, those are the 2 arms of what we're building in terms of a seamless productivity and mobility future. And so when you think about where we are in the world and what products we deliver, we are a business-to-business kind of an organization. So that means our customers are some of these brands that you may be familiar with and hundreds of others, right? So we work with the majority of brands across the globe to provide that connectivity of systems from the brain to the nervous system for mobility. So I'll turn to my colleagues here to maybe talk a bit about each of those pieces, and maybe we can talk a bit about signals and power solutions, and then AS and UX, which is advanced safety and user experience.
Alors, quand vous montez dans une voiture et qu'elle freine automatiquement quand il y a un obstacle, il y a de l'intelligence embarquée, il y a des signaux, il y a des capteurs. Quand vous appuyez sur un bouton, il y a l'essuie-glace qui se déclenche. Quand la ceinture de sécurité fait les 3 points, sachez qu'une voiture sur 3, il y a quelque chose d'actif dedans, dans le monde. Donc voilà un peu. Et donc, cette grande structure qui est APTIV, qui aujourd'hui emploie 200 000 salariés à travers le monde, est organisée en divisions. Et donc la division qui existe au Maroc aujourd'hui, c'est la division qui fait le high voltage, le câblage classique, et beaucoup d'ingénierie, énormément d'ingénierie dans le cadre du développement, les méthodes, les solutions. Au Maroc, nous sommes 20 000 employés aujourd'hui, répartis, une majorité, bien sûr, quand nous sommes dans un système de production, dans des sites qui emploient 5 000, 4 000, 3 000 salariés, beaucoup je dirais de process de production qui doivent bien sûr être alignés avec la stratégie globale du groupe, la stratégie régionale, la vision, donc quand on parle de défauts, zéro défaut, quand on parle aussi de aucun risque de non-qualité, et surtout des nouveaux projets. Donc nous sommes en train de monter en cadence de manière très significative tout ce qui est high voltage. Donc c'est une orientation. Nous sommes en train de renforcer notre centre d'ingénierie. Nous avons transféré pas mal d'activités à haute valeur ajoutée. Nous avons beaucoup plus d'ingénieurs. Nous avons transféré de l'Europe vers le Maroc et nous voulons faire quand même un point très important pour apporter de la valeur ajoutée. Il ne suffit pas de produire, mais il suffit aussi de réfléchir pour innover, créer. Donc c'est une nouvelle orientation que nous avons prise. Nous sommes en train de grandir parce que nous avons commencé en 1999, première entité à Tanger. Aujourd'hui, nous sommes à 6 entités et le groupe a beaucoup de confiance en les compétences marocaines. Des cadres marocains aujourd'hui qui dirigent à l'international, nous en avons pas mal, ils sont à peu près partout dans le monde, mais aussi des cadres marocains qui dirigent une région. Dans le passé, c'était le contraire. Donc, on ne peut qu'être fiers. Et nous avons toujours mis en avant, avec nos collègues, que le Maroc a du potentiel en termes de compétences qui se développent localement dans les écoles d'ingénieurs, dans les universités comme l'ISP, et bon, il y en a d'autres, et qui font leur preuve, mais aussi qui sont capables de faire leur preuve. On le voit dans le domaine IT, dans tous les domaines à forte valeur ajoutée. Et dans cette ambition, nous sommes aujourd'hui là pour vous dire que des structures qui peut-être, si on compare comme Coca-Cola ou Pepsi, vous se dire, bah, Coca c'est très connu, bah, vous avez des structures aujourd'hui internationales, mais qui sont présentes, mais vous ne les voyez jamais. Le cas, quand on dit une voiture sur 3 est équipée d'une solution APTIV, APTIV vous l'entendez pour la première fois, mais sachez que ça existait, que c'est le futur. Et quand Adonica parlait du futur, moi je dirais c'est aujourd'hui, parce que le futur, on a pas de futur. Tout se passe rapidement, tout se passe très très vite, tout se développe rapidement. Donc à nous d'être beaucoup plus dans l'anticipatif que dans le réactif. Et l'anticipation exige tout simplement la capacité de pouvoir prévenir, et être créatif et innover. Donc je pense, I will hand over to my friend. Can I continue in English or in French? Je fais exprès de parler français. You want to develop about graduate program, for example? No?
What's that?
The graduate program that we have? Or you want to say something about before?
I think you covered SPPS and ASPPS,
Yeah.
it sounded like, so that's excellent. So I think what we could talk about next is maybe our philosophy to the future of mobility. I think that would really help you to understand why we are thinking about our graduate and early careers program in the way that we are. That is very cross-functional, it's very skills-based, and really thinking about the agility of the future that's necessary. So to give you all a bigger picture as we think about the future of mobility, right? We're addressing the challenges of today and tomorrow. So vehicle fatalities, NHTSA is an organization that monitors accidents and fatalities within the United States, and then the World Health Organization monitors this on a global scale. And so we're solving for the 1.25 million road traffic deaths that we see on an annual basis in the globe. And then as you think about emissions and the future of sustainability and the future of mobility that requires sustainability in order to be able to continue to move in the ways in which we're used to today, we really are thinking about the commitments that the world has made to a no emissions future and a net neutral carbon emission. And then finally, as we think about connectivity, urbanization, consumer expectations, consumers expect a vehicle that essentially anticipates their needs before they even know that they will have that need. And so we really are thinking about how the business and within the technology of software and the connectivity of our nervous system, the signals and power solutions work together seamlessly in the vehicle. And then outside of the market of mobility, our business is also thinking about adjacent markets. So once you've solved for that kind of modular approach to a solution with technology and software and hardware that communicate seamlessly within each other, that is obviously very valuable in the sector of mobility, but then think beyond that, right? So thinking about aerospace, thinking about telecommunications, even healthcare sector, there's a need for that seamless integration, and that's what APTIV is thinking about as a future. So once you have that concept and understanding, then you will understand how we approach our business and our mission. So our mission, again, is to be safer, greener, and more connected. And as a business, we focus on 4 pillars to achieve that mission, which is fostering a high-performance and highly engaged team, so our people pillar, and then products, designing and delivering solutions that make the world that future that we're looking for. And then planet, that's a key pillar when we think about how do we make decisions and how do we grow as a business. We are constantly thinking about what is the most sustainable option, because we recognize that that is required for the future of our existence as an organization. And then platform, making sure that we're doing the right thing the right way. So that means making sure that there's self-determination in how we're working with companies and with organizations and universities, so that if we're working with, for example, Moroccan talent, there's self-determination around opportunities to develop Morocco based on the work that you're doing. And the impact of that creates the value not only for the business, but also for our communities, our actual vehicles and other markets that we support and achieving that mission. So with that in mind, that really is how we're agilely thinking about the internship experience as well. So Philippe, do you want to talk a bit about that experience and kind of how we approach skills-based learning and cross-functionality?
Sure, and before I will tell you how do we do it, I will tell you who do we search for. So based on the 2 things, one will be our logo and second one of our slogans. So do you see our logo? You know what it stands for? The sign APTIV and 2 dots. You know why 2 dots? Because we are connecting the dots. And the second thing is move forward together. So we need people who connect the dots and together we will move forward. So in general, this is it and this is all. But what do we do? So we have a global framework for internship programs across the globe. In our main hubs like the US, Europe, Krakow, and in India. And based on our experience with those programs, we are extending our program to all over the world for our locations. We want to have a global network of young talents around the globe, connect, and based on that, build future of the mobility. We thought that this is crucial for our company to get right people for right positions. And it won't be possible if we do not get early career talents from the universities to fulfill our needs. So we just give you opportunity to enter the program, and once you enter the program, you can continue being within our organization wherever you start with this location, or rather, because we always consider internal movement as one of our main pillars. And of course, saying that, it is important that we provide you knowledge, bodies, experience that you want and you need to have to be successful within your job.
Absolutely. That's really helpful. So as you think about what is life like at APTIV and what is life like as an APTIV intern and then going into your first time opportunity and then beyond that, we have a few different opportunities that we want you to be aware of. That starts from the internship level to then the graduate program leadership level, and then as you enter within the business, there are opportunities to continue to grow and kind of really decide and drive your own career path. So within all of those experiences, we really are focused on a few key things. First being exposure to leadership. We understand that seeing is also valuable when doing, right? So understanding how leaders are thinking about problems and challenges, and we have a programmatic approach to how we make sure our interns and all levels beyond that have an opportunity to get those insights from leaders directly and then from within the business strategically. And then cross-functional collaboration. A key piece of importance within our internship experience is making sure that you have the opportunity to collaborate beyond the function that you may be working in. And we recognize again that future requires that dynamic mindset. So what I've really loved about being here is that kind of pillar of education is also reflected here. So there's a good understanding of how, regardless of what school of thought you may be getting your degree in, you have to be able to think dynamically beyond just your particular degree to support the problem solving that needs to happen, right? So there's an open question and a problem that needs to be solved, and there's not necessarily an answer that's already predetermined. We're learning the skills to answer problems and solve problems, answer questions, not necessarily a predetermined answer. And that's really important for our business as well. Which brings me to learning and development. That is a really key function and key focus for our business. We have what we call our career hub. So you have the opportunity to go within the career hub and take a look at the hundreds, if not thousands of jobs available across the 50 sites in the business. And you can apply in our internal talent marketplace to any of those opportunities. And what I think is really exceptional about our career hub is not only can you apply for the opportunity, but you also have professional development embedded in that marketplace, so that if you identify a role that perhaps you're not necessarily equipped for today, there's a development plan that you can put yourself on, right? And gain those skills to learn and grow in the ways that you need to make yourself ready for that opportunity tomorrow. So there's a high key focus on internal mobility and the skills needed to support that mobility. And then finally, the actual projects that you're working on. These projects are actually going into vehicles. They're actually going into product designs. So your work is having direct impact in experiences of users right from the very beginning. So one other thing I want to mention is our approach to skills, which I think is really critical, especially with this audience, because we did go check out 1377 and the ways in which you all recognize that skills, even beyond a certain piece of paper or a degree, are essential in having the agility to find out the answer to the questions that exist and really determine your path. And so I know, speaking with your professors, you all are very interested in what are the skills that are important to our future, our business and to the future. So I'll share that with you briefly, and then would love to hear from you all as well as we have a conversation. So a few key things that we're focused on as a business as we think about the future of mobility and those other adjacent markets are a skills-based future. So the tech skills, of course, and those kind of harder, more technical solutions and skills that you have to gain through learning development, but also the non-technical skills that you gain through practical application are extremely important to the future of industry and especially to our business. So as we think about the ways in which technology is evolving, we recognize that the technical skills actually may change even more quickly to the point where the technology changes so fast that whatever you learn today may be obsolete in some ways in 3 months. So you have to have the skill set to learn in a dynamic way as it evolves, and that's really what we're looking for. We're looking for that change management, that project management, that critical thinking and problem-solving mindset, the resilience that's required to be able to go along with that evolution and transformation. So really, these are the skills that are most in demand across the globe, and also as we think about as we're hiring and looking for that kind of talent in business. So as you think about how to differentiate yourself as an applicant, not just to APTIV, but to any business, these are the skills that you want to highlight, right? Your technical skills, but also your non-technical skills that demonstrate your leadership competencies. And then as you think about the highly technical skills, there are things that we're currently really focused on, right? So things like agile methodologies, AI, ML, different kinds of coding language, those other more technical skills. And then outside of software and technology development, hardware manufacturing skills, even people skills, because we do have a very large corporate functions in our business as well. So things from HR to communications, tax, supply chain, those are all within the APTIV ecosystem and opportunities to grow. So I am going to pause on my talking because I would love to hear from you all. Maybe we can take some questions if you have any questions about APTIV or future mobility or anything else we could maybe give some insights on.
If you allow me, I will complete something about the softs. Adonika parlait assez souvent sur un mot qui revenait, mais je voulais quand même le attirer votre attention. L'agilité. L'agilité, le monde bouge, hein, les choses changent, il n'y a plus de choses qui sont statiques, on est plus dans la dynamique. Vous devez développer cette capacité d'accepter les changements. C'est souvent une sorte de résistance. On est plus à l'aise dans sa zone de confort, sauf que le monde, malheureusement, qu'on le fait, ou heureusement, est en changement perpétuel. Donc, accepter les changements comme c'est quelque chose de normal. Donc, votre agilité à vous adapter dans un contexte nouveau, stressant, découverte, fera de vous la différence. Vous êtes déjà dans cette école et vous travaillez en groupe. Est-ce que vous avez la capacité de vous intégrer facilement dans un nouveau groupe ou c'est des difficultés que vous avez dans l'entreprise? Vous allez devoir vous intégrer dans un contexte qui existe déjà, qui fonctionne, qui tourne. Ne soyez pas l'élément bloquant, soyez comme l'élément qui pousse pour ça, pour le travail en groupe. Ayez l'esprit. Tout à l'heure, Madame, mademoiselle disait, mais comment allez-vous ce soir, cet après-midi? Ça va? Ah, ça va. Alors, en général, quand on parle de l'ascenseur émotionnel, on commence sa journée peut-être motivé, démotivé, peut-être on a mal dormi, peut-être je suis plein d'énergie. Eh bien, votre état d'esprit, votre situation à ce moment-là, à 8 h du matin, fera de cette journée une belle journée ou peut-être une journée catastrophique. Vous savez, c'est des choses, je ne parle pas de la technicité, hein. Alors, plutôt ce qui fera de vous l'élément motivé, engagé, ou peut-être highly engaged, ou l'élément qui est démotivé et highly disengaged, qui impacte négativement les autres. Ce sont beaucoup de choses que vous allez demain découvrir, que vous soyez entrepreneur, que vous soyez salarié, que vous soyez un dirigeant, vous allez découvrir des choses qui n'ont rien à voir avec la technicité. La technicité, vous êtes en train de l'apprendre, vous êtes en train de l'acquérir. Ce que vous êtes en tant qu'être humain, et ce que vous avez développé en vous, l'aspect positif, l'aspect d'amélioration, la conviction personnelle, le sens que vous voulez donner à votre vie, fera de vous une personne heureuse, alignée avec elle-même. And that's all from my side. Thank you. Alors, est-ce que vous avez des questions à nous poser? Allez-y.
Excellent.
Oh, good. So it's about questions.
Yeah, I'll just wrap us up here before we take questions, right? So to recap what we've talked about, right, and the mission that the business has, safer, greener, more connected. And so I wanted to share with you all kind of how we're thinking about sustainability and the commitments that we've made and the journey, the transformational journey that we're on to reach being a carbon neutral company by 2040. And that means carbon neutral, also the products, right, that we're developing for our customers, that list of logos that you saw, enabling their carbon commitments as well. And then we mentioned, right, the future of mobility and the evolution of the car for 2030. So as we think about what does that look like, that's what we're building for, we're problem solving for, and not just in vehicles, but I mentioned those adjacent markets, so I wanted you to just get a chance to see. So I see it's not moving with me, give me a second. There it is. Might be just, I thought I was presenting all along and then I realized that the slide stopped moving with me. But I think good enough place to land here as we think about questions. So we'll take questions.
Hello, and thank you very much for this masterclass. It has been an honor to actually know about the insights that we didn't know about. Like, for example, how APTIV is part of really like one of three cars, something that I don't think no one has really known about here. So thank you for that. And for me to introduce myself, my name is Ayoub Tawia. I'm from the College of Computing, a second year's master's student. And my fields of study are data science, artificial intelligence, and quantitative modeling. And so, since we were talking about agility and how fast things are moving, since the industry is rapidly evolving, say for example, when we saw Tesla unveiling the new things that they have done with the AI integration, has APTIV then integrated AI not only into its products and services, but also in its internal operations? For example, when we talk about HR in artificial intelligence, artificial intelligence in HR, or data science and business intelligence, for example, in helping making decisions, strategical decisions, and gaining insights into the markets. And since we were also talking about the future, then how does APTIV see AI shaping its future in these areas? Thank you.
I feel like I have a job for you already. It's an amazing question and really insightful. And so I sit on our committee for AI within HR, actually for the business. And so we are actively thinking about how to utilize AI to make sure that we're strategic and also ethical in our decision making, because one of the things that we're really balancing is while the technology is moving at such a rapid pace, the evaluation of the technology and the ethical standards that exist to monitor the technology, I think is not quite as rapid. So we are really thoughtful about when we integrate AI systems, and it's not if, because we do have kind of a roadmap around how to integrate those systems, but thoughtfully, right? So that we make sure that we can trust the insights that the technology is making. And to that point, we have what we call our APTIV Innovation Awards, which we've just celebrated in Shenzhen, China last month. So we actually encourage innovation within the business, and we award monetary awards to talent within the business to think about how to use innovative solutions like AI throughout the business and then also in our product. And so we really encourage that entrepreneurial mindset. And we give principles around AI utilization. So we're making sure that there's no safety breaches, there's no security breaches, no ethical breaches. So we give kind of the guardrails of how we think it should be used and welcome the innovative mindset of how to implement it into strategy. So excellent question. Thank you.
And for instance, we are developing our own learning language model that can support, for instance, us in HR or other corporate functions instead of like ChatGPT. Now we are testing it, but our engineers developed it, and it's available for us to use it internally.
Ayoub, c'est une excellente actuelle future question. Est-ce que c'est un choix de dire est-ce qu'on a pensé à l'intelligence artificielle ou non? Je pense que ce n'est plus un choix. D'accord? Elle est présente quelque part dans le développement, le programme de développement. Ce que dernièrement a fait APTIV, c'est que nous avons des programmes de e-learning qui sont systématiques et obligatoires. Tout dépend du sujet. Et parmi les derniers programmes qu'on a dû suivre, c'est tout ce qui est autour de l'intelligence artificielle. En termes awareness, faites attention à ce que vous faites, mais aussi ce que APTIV fait en interne. C'est vrai qu'on ne peut pas tout dévoiler, mais ce qui est sûr, c'est qu'il y a énormément de choses qui se font en termes d'intelligence artificielle parce que ce n'est pas un choix. Voilà, très clair.
My name is Samir Ravi. I'm a third-year student in Green Technology Institute. I want to thank you first for your insightful presentation. So my school, Green Tech Institute, and your company, I think they share the same vision. I would like to know more about your long-term vision in the sustainable technology. If there is any projects of integrating green hydrogen or anything sustainable in the automotive industry. Also, I'm working toward my final year project, and I would like to know if there is any digitalization project here in Morocco or globally with your company, because working on an impactful project that could like change the world, maybe like in a small portion that has an impact, it would be really helpful. And thank you so much.
Thank you. So I'll start with the answer, and then I'll definitely hand it off. Your question is timely because I got the slides to finally start working. Because you asked about kind of like how we envision the future and integrating these green technologies, right? So what I wanted to show you all can now is the vision of the 2030 car. And so the 2030 car, as you think about what does that look like, is that optimized hydrogenated vehicle, right, that's electrified and able to compute intelligently and on the kind of flip of a dime or flip of a brake, and the hybridization of both high voltage and thinking about the ways in which energy will really impact movement. So yes, to the greener technology piece in question, and we're currently on a journey right now to think about what does that look like. And so the technology that you all are building and the things that you're thinking about, I think feed directly into like what that future might look like. And then to that point, beyond mobility, I was talking earlier about adjacent markets, these are the things when you talk about digitization and the future beyond just the car, these are the other kinds of markets that we're looking at, right? So aerospace opportunities, auto, obviously, industrial, medical technologies, telecommunications, even cloud and data centers that support everything that we would do with regard to digitization. These are the things that we're thinking about how to make the software communicate seamlessly with the hardware that's required. So to your question around Morocco specifically, but in projects that we have available, I will definitely defer to my colleague here that has some insights on that, but there are. Yeah.
Oui, alors je vais compléter pour la digitalisation. Donc, notre groupe a signé un contrat très important, un contrat monde, avec des grands noms comme Google, comme d'autres structures, pour tout digitaliser. C'est simple. Et encore une fois, c'est pas un choix. Si tu le fais pas, ben, on te dépasse facilement. Donc, on a déjà commencé les workshops, c'est magnifique parce que ça te permet de revoir tes process facilement, de voir parfois combien de fois on se complique la vie. Donc, ça peut être très simple. Donc, le projet a déjà démarré. Pour tout ce qui est aspect green, alors déjà dans la construction, toutes nos nouvelles usines que nous construisons, c'est des usines énormes. Ben, ils sont green avec toujours cette vision d'arriver à un certain nombre d'émissions de carbone par force de loi, mais aussi par conviction. Le Maroc est engagé, l'Europe derrière a des rules et des règles qui imposent pour les véhicules, et donc on verra moins de diesel qui circulent. Donc tout ça on le prend en considération, et tous nos développements aussi, quand on dit green safe, green c'est un aspect stratégique dans notre vision. Et donc tout ce que nous faisons est en phase avec cet aspect-là. To add something pour Martina? C'est bon pour la réponse ou tu veux autre chose à compléter?
Si c'est possible d'avoir, s'il y a précisément des projets sur la digitalisation et des détails.
Plus de détails. Alors, on a commencé, bon, c'est un grand projet parce que ça touche nos pratiques, nos processus, différents départements, et ça va aller jusqu'à l'usine dans l'automatisation et digitalisation. Alors, le premier workshop a concerné la partie HR. Donc, plus de paperasse, tout est digitalisé, aide à la décision, enfin, tout ce qui est derrière. Donc, le processus, ça commence même par le processus de recrutement, ça va jusqu'à la partie administrative, la partie paye, et ainsi de suite. Parce que, quand même, nous sommes des structures qui existent depuis 1999, et c'est sûr qu'en 1999, on ne pensait pas à la digitalisation. Donc, il fallait mettre des choses, les vérifier, les contrôler et respecter la loi. Aujourd'hui, la loi est devenue plus flexible. Du moment que les données existent, du moment qu'il y a un système de validation, on peut faire beaucoup de choses. Il fallait beaucoup de courage, mais surtout, il fallait à un certain moment dire, si on ne le fait pas, bon, on va peut-être être dépassé facilement. Donc le premier chantier, plus grand, c'est la partie HR. Donc c'est là. Et il y a encore beaucoup de travail, parce qu'on parle quand même de 200 000 employés. Donc tu peux imaginer un peu le nombre de processus derrière pour gérer toute ces headcounts. Voilà.
I may add one thing that on top of digitalization, we also think about automation, especially in our corporate functions. So we do a lot to make our processes more efficient using technology. So that's what we're doing across the globe in our corporate function as well.
Good evening. I would like to thank you for your presentation and for being here. It was very insightful. I'm Marwa Diallo. I'm a fourth-year engineering student at AMIN, School of Industrial Management. I'm currently working on a project of building a solar self-driving car. It was a project started by another group last year, but we are working on it in order to improve other aspects, actually, especially the self-driving aspect. And I want to ask you if you intend to expand and spread your technology to include other vehicles instead of cars. And I want to ask you about the reduction of greenhouse gases emission. How do you what technology do you use to reduce those gases? Because we will use PV panels in this car. So what technology do you use in your company? And thank you.
Yes. I was going to say, I know my wheelhouse. I can answer, I think, your first question with regard to what are we thinking about with regard to autonomous operations beyond vehicles. So if you look here at what we're calling the premise edge, so in this kind of column, in addition to auto, we're certainly thinking about aerospace and defense. That's a huge, I think, opportunity to automate operations autonomously. And then industry, right? So actual manufacturing processes in plants that are manufacturing all kinds of things. Globally, we're thinking about how to embed, again, that brain and nervous system, because that's what the heart of our business is, right? Is thinking about how do we get the software to predict and automate and operate, and then also communicate to the hardware in a seamless way, just like our body does, to understand the sensory inputs and outputs to do the thing you want it to do. And then medical, right? I'm sure we can all think about the ways in which that process will really help to advance medical industries as well. So we are thinking about automation beyond just the car. To your question about how are we doing it, and your question about like how are we capturing greenhouse emissions and are we using PV panels versus others, I will be honest to say that I'm not that engineer that's in the lab, right, that could do a more deeper analysis for you. Maybe one of my colleagues here might know more than I. But what I do know is that we have an approach to being very dynamic, working with universities and other kind of really cutting edge research projects and spaces to make sure that whatever is the latest best practice, we are operationalizing that best practice. And if you think about it from like a commercial standpoint, I showed you the logos of all the companies that we're working with. It's a requirement to be a producer for these companies, right? They have their own commitments they've made with regard to greenhouse emissions, and they're requiring that their suppliers also are able to make that commitment. So we have a really strong ecosystem that understands kind of like the latest development, and we're working with many parts of the world to kind of capture what is that latest development. So the fact that we're in 50 countries means that we're also in 50 countries, university and research and R&D sectors as well. So we're working with all of those places to think about what are those latest technologies to implement things like capturing greenhouse emissions, thinking about how to electrify a vehicle, even the connector cables that are required to charge an EV vehicle. All of those things are kind of within the APTIV kind of umbrella. So, sorry it's not a more technical answer, but hopefully it gives you a philosophical answer to how we think about the technical approach.
Thank you.
Thank you. Add anything there, colleagues?
Maybe only that when we think about autonomous driving, so we are focused on the system itself. So we connect different models, different sensors to let the car drive autonomously, and energy source is something different. It might be not defined by us how it will be powered. It might be the car manufacturer who decides whether the car is electric car, hydrogen, combustion, or other type of energy powered. But we are then focused on the autonomous technology itself. So of course we can think about how itself the technology consume less energy or use, I don't know, more efficient cables, but still the power source is defined by the car manufacturer.
Thank you, sir.
Et exactement, moi j'allais dire que toute la partie physique de la voiture, à la rigueur, c'est pas notre métier, mais toute la partie intelligente, oui, embarquée. Donc s'il y a une technologie demain, comme tu as dit, le solaire ou n'importe quelle nouvelle technologie, peut-être le constructeur automobile va le penser. Maintenant, la manière comme on l'a géré à l'intérieur du véhicule, nous on est capable donc de développer ce qu'il faut comme outil, comme technologie pour pouvoir aider et faciliter un peu l'atteinte de l'objectif du constructeur.
Merci,
Voilà,
sir.
je t'en prie.
Hello, thank you so much for your presentation. My name is Aya Kamouni. I'm a fourth-year student at School of Industrial Management. And my question concerns the interview process at APTIV. How many rounds are typically involved? How many rounds of interviews are typically involved in your process? And what can I expect in each round?
Sure. So definitely it will depend whether it's for internship process or for RCE position. That's the first step. Second, it will be defined by the location where it is. So in general, for internship roles, we start with collecting applications. Depending on the, let's say, area, we can have online tests and then see screened by HR and hiring manager. And later on, we will have interview. Interview is connected with two steps. Step one is with the HR, second is with hiring manager and let's say technical part of his team. It might be one conversation, but connected with these two steps. And in general, based on that, we are able to get the feedback decision whether we would like this person or not. And of course, this is like the general process, and depending on the position, on the location, and on some kind of other factors, we can adapt our process to that.
My question concerns internship. That's the position I'm asking about, actually. And could you be more specific about the tests? Like, what kind of tests are there?
The team, locally in Morocco, alors au niveau du Maroc, je pense un peu partout, le fait de passer des tests et d'avoir un entretien avec le manager du département concerné montre qu'on donne de la valeur au stage. D'accord ? La discussion, c'est autour de la thématique, le pourquoi, quelles sont un petit peu vos ambitions en termes de stage, qu'est-ce que vous voulez apprendre, qu'est-ce que vous avez acquis, et beaucoup d'échanges qui se font avec le manager concerné. Comme ça, il choisit le mentor, la personne qui va vous encadrer en fonction de vos ambitions de stage, ce que vous voulez. Avant cela, il y a juste une présélection de demande en fonction des besoins du confirmation, en fonction des besoins et des capacités d'accueil. Parce qu'on ne veut pas avoir des stagiaires qui sont là à ne rien faire. Donc, il faut apporter quelque chose. Ils sont très demandeurs, très exigeants, mais en même temps, on rend service aux stagiaires parce qu'ils sortent en apprenant quelque chose. Il part de chez nous, ou alors il est recruté parce qu'il a appris quelque chose durant son stage. C'est clair?
Your answer was too general, I think, for my question. But it's okay.
Here, let me try. Let me try. Well,
Yeah,
third time's a charm.
so
We'll see.
More specific.
We'll see. Sure. you asked about the internship level, right? And I think my colleagues covered it, but I think to your question, it's specific to the internship school, right? But generally speaking, the process is a test of some sort, right? So if we're thinking about software engineering interns, we're testing for your aptitude in the coding language that would be required, for example. If we're thinking about corporate functions, then the test is a little bit more subjective, right? Because we're more so actually trying to assess, do you have an understanding of supply chain? Do you have an understanding of tax? It depends right on the internships family that you're applying to. So there's that testing component, and it really is more objective if there's like a certification in that job family. And then the next phase of that is after testing, there is an interview, right? So there'll be an interview screen with an HR representative that would essentially validate you are who you say you are, right? So we were having an interesting conversation earlier about AI writing resumes, and my position is that I don't have a problem with that, but is it accurately reflecting what your skill set is, right? So that conversation with HR is trying to determine, are you really who you say you are? And then if you are, then you move on to a conversation with the manager that's hiring for that internship opportunity. So usually at the internship level, it's about 2 conversations and that testing piece at the beginning. As you move through the job cycle, which I know you're not asking about that, but as you get beyond an internship, we generally have a panel approach to interviewing, where you will interview with the hiring manager, but you'll also interview with their manager, maybe even someone that you'll be on the team with, because we want to make sure that in addition to the skill set that you possess, are you a fit for the team? So hopefully third try, that answered the question a little bit more in detail.
Alors, on a la chance d'avoir Sana qui gère un peu cette partie de stagiaire. Tu peux vous donner plus de détails, Sana, s'il te plaît? She's in charge of this.
Well, it sounded like the question was answered, right?
Yeah,
Or
it's
did you-
already answered, but we can get more details.
Of course.
So it's appreciated.
But good question.
Parce que
I'm sure everybody-
elle a dit 2 fois, vous êtes trop généraliste. On va aller dans les détails.
Yeah.
Bonsoir. Hello everybody. I'm Sana Jibali. I'm a North Africa talent manager. I'm leading internships, recruitment and training for interns, for new hires and development talents. So basically, Adonika gave a lot of discussions or a lot of details as it as well, but I want to add something special. As it talk about the assignment, we have an approach of P&P, profile and project. If the assignment is really matching with the resume, with the capacity, with the knowledge of the intern, he is 100% hired. I mean hired between brackets, because we need to have selection first, selection based on resumes and the capacity, and of course small call between HR representative and the candidate. Then we have a physical HR interview and the technical interview, and of course when the employee between bracket or the intern is or he is on board, he needs to follow a lot of trainings first, and then he needs to work on the internship project or the assignment, and he needs as well to validate each step. Maybe we have 3 steps. The first one is likely for 2 months maximum. Second step is to give achievements on the project, and the last one is the approval ones. And in this step, the intern or the internal, so the employee is actually like a candidate for hiring, if of course if it existed. So this one, at the end of the evaluation, he can give like an outcome of all the period of internship, and as well he will have like an interview with the hiring manager. It can be the first supervisor or l'encadrant, professional supervisor, or he can be proposed to another manager, because his achievements, they are talking about his achievements, that we are talking about his willingness to work with the company. So this is not only general. This is the details of the details of the details. And of course, it's not depending only on the P&P projects and profile, dependent as well on the location. Sometimes we are having some candidates who are interested in Tangier, but unfortunately we have positions or opportunities in Oujda, Meknes, because, for example, in Morocco we are present in Tangier, Knetra, Meknes, and Oujda. For the international, of course, we are present in more than 14 countries. I hope that I gave the right thing. Can I? Oh, you want more details? Okay, so that's all from my part.
Thank you for the question. This is a very good one.
Thank you as well for answering. It's very good.
Of course. Other question here? Yeah.
Well, I'll start by thanking you all for being in today with us and sharing with us your insights. Well, I'm Nora Bouzouba, a fourth-year engineering student at IMI, obviously. Well, well, my question was, thank you, but my question is always about internships. Well, are you accepting only final internships which are kind of long-term internships, or are you accepting other types of internships? In fact, this year we're asked to do a one-week internship, so I wanted to know. Thank you.
There's a chair.
There is a lot of questions regarding internship, right? Thank you. First, I want to share with you something. I started with APTIV 10 years ago, and I started as an intern. I was in HR. Now I'm North Africa Talent Manager. A huge experience, a lot of years, a lot of, let's say, challenges, a lot of workshops, a lot of work achievements. This is not this is just an example. I want just to give you an example. I'm the real example of internships. So regarding your question, we are accepting internship starting from 3 weeks. We can accept people who are like just want to see the business, how it is, wants to see manufacturing sites, because in Morocco, especially in Morocco, we have a lot of manufacturing sites. Actually, we are dealing with 6 manufacturing sites. The majority, 50% of them are based in Tangier. We are dealing with connectors. We are dealing with technical aspects, technical centers. And really, sometimes we can have interns. We can have like a visit, student visits even. We can organize like one-day visit students into the plants. They need to see the project. They need to see the products that we are giving to our customer. As well, they need to see the vehicle where we produce, where we connect our, where we are assembling our harnesses. So starting from 3 weeks to 6 months. 6 months as the maximum, because especially for PFE, the final internship, it's between 4 months to 6 months, and we can, as I said, we can start from 3 weeks to 6 months.
This is for Morocco.
Yeah,
this is for Morocco.
Yeah.
Don't forget that it's open around the world, and then you can apply to the specific platform. You can apply for the session. Okay.
So a one-week internship is not accepted.
1 week?
It's a shadowing.
Can you?
So I think that currently, right, as Sana said, our minimum is 3 weeks. However, we did have a wonderful meeting today with the Career Center, and we're getting a better understanding of what is the curriculum here and what are the requirements for that kind of internship experience. So we are developing like a dynamic partnership. So currently it's a 3-week minimum requirement. That's not to say that it's forever, right? Because we're working really closely with the Career Center to understand what the program requirements are here.
This 1 week internship is like kind of a shadowing internship where we are asked to be the shadow of someone who works at that company. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you. That's really
Thank you.
helpful. Yes. I think we can take one more question. I saw a hand here. Did you want to?
Hello. My name is Badr Sharaf. I'm a final year student at the Industrial Management Engineering School, AMI. I would like first to thank you guys for coming all the way here. It's very appreciated. And I would like to thank you for your presentation. It was very insightful. I came to this room with no clue what your company does, but now I'm very convinced that I have another option to apply for my final internship. My question is not about internship, so you're safe. I would like to ask about your, I'll keep it short and simple. I would like to ask about your future plans and strategies to adapt to the world's transition to the electrical vehicles, especially in the European market, that knowing that they're planning to 100% electrical vehicle production by the year of 2035. So I would like to know concretely what are your future plans to adapt to this transition. Thank you.
I might start. Apart from whatever car manufacturers will do, as we are producing a lot of equipment in terms of safety, connection, infotainment, no matter what source of power car will have, we will provide necessary components to make to let you listen to the music, feel safe with cameras, radars, and so on. And if the car will be more complicated, we can provide more components to let this car be operating. So whatever the model will be, we have in our portfolio components that will be able to make this car more convenient for the user.
That's a really good answer, Philippe, and it was something I was going to just toggle back on our slides here, back to this screen, to just re-emphasize that this is our customer, right? So our customer is not necessarily the person that's going to go into the showroom and buy the vehicle. Our customer is the manufacturers that are creating the vehicles. So to Philippe's point, our approach to how we're supporting that 2035 requirement is creating the components and the software to enable these customers to meet those requirements. So we are providing the software automation and the connectivity systems and the integration of the module of those two linking together to enable them to create that kind of 2030 electrical vehicle required. So, or 2035 rather, we're pushing to 2030. So we're hoping to be kind of really beyond what's required there. So we're thinking about what are the pieces and then what is the software application to make those pieces work for all of these manufacturers, and not just in Europe, but across the world, because we have a large footprint across APAC and within China, and they have their own kind of revolution that's happening with regard to EVs, and so we're supplying the components to support that.
I can add that from a pure strategic angle, we're having a team who is listening to the market, observing the changes, and we are able to answer the customer requirements from outside as a company. From a production point of view, in some plants, mainly in Morocco, we already start producing the high voltage cable. And the high voltage cable, the difference between the classical one and high voltage is 0 default. We cannot accept default because it's a very strong, it's very difficult to produce it. It's not easy, but you need a team well trained, well developed, knows about the impact of if there is any issue. And for sure, all what we are producing high voltage is 100% quality, as required by the customer. So this is for physical production. Now for all the aspect of development or safety, we have our vision on the future. We are observing. We are anticipating the future. and we don't have a choice. This is strategy.
I think that's a great way to close it out, and thank you again for joining us, and I just want to reemphasize the point that you made, because we talked a lot about technical aspects, and we talked about internships, and we talked about like the business strategy, and I want to reemphasize those 4 pillars that I mentioned, because what you said is exactly right, and it brings us full circle to the problems that we don't yet know about, right? But we have a system in place to anticipate the problems, and a culture that expects the kind of working to solve for those problems. So those 4 pillars that I mentioned are really important to that. People, right? Making sure that we have a culture that supports people in an engaged way, in a high-performing way, in an inclusive way, so that all of our talent feels that they can bring those problems, those things that we're not seeing yet, into the business and a solve for that. And then the products approach, right? How are we designing and developing and delivering solutions in an agile model? So maybe it's a new wire that it's going to be contributing to this new EV future or zero emissions. All of the products that we're thinking about, and then keeping the planet and the platform in mind in everything we do. So in every kind of solution we generate now and into the future, these are the 4 key things that we make sure we're always keeping our mind on. So I'll thank you all so much for spending your evening with us. I know that is really special, and we just really appreciate all of your time. And before you get up, I want to take a selfie of the room. So thank you.
Alors merci à tout le monde. Désolé de vous avoir retenu jusqu'à 19h30. Je sais que vos programmes sont trop chargés. C'était un très bon échange. Ravi d'être parmi vous. Et all the best for every one of you.